Welcome to aminacademy.com. In human anatomy and physiology, let us talk about function of the liver. The liver is an extremely active organ which has many important functions that are described below. Carbohydrate metabolism. The liver has an important role in maintaining plasma glucose levels. After a meal, when levels rise, glucose is converted to glycogen for storage under the influence of the hormone insulin. Later, when glucose level falls, the hormone glycogen stimulates conversion of glycogen into glucose again, keeping levels within the normal range. Fat metabolism. Stored fat can be converted to a form in which it can be used by the tissues to provide energy. Protein metabolism. Elimination of amino acids. This process removes the nitrogenous portion from the amino acids that are not required for the formation of new protein. Urea is formed from this nitrogenous portion and is excreted in urine. Breaks down nucleic acids, genetic materials, example DNA, to form uric acid, which is excreted in the urine. Transamination removes the nitrogenous portion of the amino acids and attaches it to other carbohydrate molecules, forming new non-essential amino acids. Synthesis of plasma proteins. These are formed from the amino acids and include albumins, globulins, and blood clotting factors. Breakdown of erythrocytes and defense against microbes. This is carried out by the phagocytic hepatic macrophages, that is Kupffer cells in the sinusoids, although breakdown of red blood cells also takes place in the spleen and bone marrow. Detoxification of drugs and toxic substances. This includes ethanol, alcohol, waste products, and microbial toxins. Some drugs are extensively inactivated by the liver and are not very effective when given by mouth, that is orally. Example, glyceryl trinitrate. This is because after absorption from the alimentary tract, they travel in the blood to the liver where they are largely metabolized so that leaves levels in the blood leaving the liver and which enters the synthetic circulation are inadequate to achieve therapeutic effects. This is known as first pass metabolism. Inactive of hormones. This includes inactivation of hormones. This includes insulin, glycogen, cortisols, aldosterone, thyroid, and sex hormones. Production of heat. The liver uses a considerable amount of energy, has a high metabolic rate, and consequently produces a great deal of heat. It is the main heat producing organs of the body. Secretion of bile. The hepatocytes synthesis the constituents of bile from the mixed arterial and venous blood in the sinusoids. This includes bile salts, bile pigments, and cholesterol. Storage. Stored substances include glycogen, fat soluble vitamins, that is A, D, E, K, iron, and copper, some water soluble vitamins like vitamin B12. Next one, in that composition of the bile, between 500 to 1000 ml of bile is secreted by the liver daily. Bile consists of water, mineral salts, mucus, and bile pigments, mainly bilirubin, bile salts, cholesterol. Next one, function of bile. Fat digestion. The bile acids, that is cholic and genodeoxycholic acids, are synthesized by hepatocytes from the cholesterol, then secreted into bile as sodium or potassium salts. In the small intestine, they emulsify fat, aiding their digestion. Fatty acids are insoluble in water, which makes them very difficult to absorb through the intestinal walls. Bile salts make the cholesterol and fatty acids more water soluble, enabling both these and the fat soluble vitamins, that is vitamin A, D, E, and K, to be readily absorbed. Excretion of bilirubin. Bilirubin is one of the product of hemolysis of erythrocytes by hepatic macrophages, that is Kupffer cells in the liver, and by other macrophages in the spleen and bone marrow. Bilirubin is insoluble in water and is carried in the blood bonds to the plasma proteins albumins. Now, next we'll discuss about the function of the liver. Look at this main function here: hepatic vein, this liver, gallbladder, common bile duct, hepatic artery, and portal veins. These are the main functions here. Major liver function is biotransformation, storage, and synthesis. These are the subdivisions of the functions. What does my liver do? Digesting your food, your liver makes proteins called enzymes that are important for breaking down your food and getting the nutrients out. Producing energy, storing vitamins, ions, and other nutrients, fighting infections, removing toxins, helping you heal. These are the main functions of the liver. The liver performs over 500 vital functions, including filtering toxins from blood, metabolizing nutrients, producing bile for digestion, and synthesizing essential proteins like clotting factors and albumin. It also stores glycogen, vitamins, and minerals and regulates blood sugar level. Metabolic functions: metabolizes nutrients, processes carbohydrates, fats, and proteins from digested food, regulates blood sugar, stores glucose as glycogen, and releases it with needed to maintain stable blood sugar level. Break down toxins, filters and detoxifies harmful substances, including alcohol and drugs, converting them into forms that can be excreted. Metabolizes bilirubin, processes old red blood cells and excretes bilirubins, a byproducts of this process. Digestive functions: produces bile, creates bile, a fluid that is critical for digesting and absorbing fats in the small intestine. Assist in digestion. Product produces enzymes that helps break down food and a fluid that helps carry away waste. Protective and circulatory functions: filters blood, filters over 250 gallons of blood daily, removing waste and foreign substances. Removes bacteria, fights infections by removing bacteria from the bloodstream. Regulates blood clottings, produces clotting factors essential for stopping bleeding. Storage and synthesis functions: stores nutrients, stores glycogen, vitamins like fat soluble vitamins, iron, and copper for later use. synthesizes proteins, creates vital proteins such as albumin, which maintains fluids balance and clotting factors, produces cholesterol, makes cholesterol and special proteins that helps carry fats throughout the body, converts ammonia, changes harmful ammonia, a waste products of protein metabolism, into urea, which is then excreted in urine. So far, we discussed about the function of liver. We have done. Please subscribe our YouTube channel.